and welcome to today's edition of the Grand Sports Center. It's Wednesday edition of the program. It's always good to be here. I'm Donald Agbavobo. As usual, we'll show you off a very interesting package as we have a lot lined up for your pleasure this morning. Top on the bill will be the men's and women's basketball draws for the 2020 Olympic Games that was held yesterday. Nigeria's women team, the Tigers, have been paired to play in Group B alongside United States of America, who are the defending world champions, France, and of course host Japan, a very difficult group you might say. The men will play against Australia, one of the top 3 in the world, and of course the winner of the Olympic qualifiers taking place in Croatia, Belgrade later in the year, sometime around June. That will be the third team in that group. So both teams, talking about the men and the women basketball team, the Tigers and the Tigers, really have a tough group to play in at the 2020 Olympic Games. NBA is set to enforce, talking about the National Basketball League of America, set to enforce strict face mask rules to curb spread of COVID-19. They've discovered that as much as 23 games have been postponed this season, the NBA, due to issues of COVID-19, and to stem the tide and to put things back in place and ensure that there will be no more postponement, they have decided to enforce strict use of face masks, and they'll be enforcing those rules beginning from Friday, and they're making an arrangement to have all 30 NBA teams get the required specification of face mask that will be required. So this is coming from the NBA. And back home, the Nigerian Professional Football League enters week 8 this Wednesday, and a lot of matches have been lined up. The top attraction is the match in Nasarawa, Lafia, where Nasarawa United will take on Eyimba. So that's a big match for the occasion. There are other matches lined up. We shall be analyzing these matches. Also in English Premier League, a big thing happened yesterday. Manchester United bounced back from a loss and a draw they recorded in their last 2 matches to trash Southampton 9-0 in the English Premier League match yesterday. Also equaling a record that was set by them also when they beat Ipswich also by the same score line in 1995. But then the same Southampton 2 seasons ago lost to Leicester by the same scoreline. So why Southampton always been at the receiving end of this high scoreline? We shall be looking at this match and other matches that were played yesterday in English Premier League, and also look ahead to tonight's fixtures, as so many other matches have been lined up. In tennis, Novak Djokovic inspired Serbia to victory in the ATP Cup as they beat Canada 3-0 yesterday. And so Novak Djokovic showing that he's set for the Australian Open, which will start next week, as he spearheaded his country's assault in the ATP Cup. The National Sports Festival taking place in Edo State, the 20th National Sports Festival, arrangement is still being made to ensure that the games go ahead, and the main organizing committee has asked that states reduce the number of team sports events that they're participating in. All this is the bid to reduce the risk of spread of COVID-19. They're asking states that only teams that finish first in the zonal qualifiers should participate. Ideally, should have been the first, second, and the third place teams from each zonal qualifier that will come for the main National Sports Festival proper to compete. But the organizing committee is saying in order to reduce the number of athletes at the games, all in a bid to stem the spread of COVID-19, only the top place team, those that finish first in the zonal qualifiers in team sports, will be allowed to compete at the sports festival. We shall be looking at all these issues, of course, Super Eagles Watch and today's sports history on the program today. So sit back, relax, and enjoy your time with us. With me on the program, as usual, is Double A, Austin Arume.
Thank you for having me.
And Double B, Blessing Bassi.
It's good to be here.
So we'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll go straight to the main issues of the day. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center. Straight to first issue for today. The women basketball team and the men basketball team of Nigeria, the Tigers and the Tigers, now know their group opponents in the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. We shall start with the women team. They've been drawn in Group B alongside host Japan, France, and the world champions United States of America. Austin, how difficult is this group?
A very, very difficult group. The same group with United States. You know, they played during the Olympic qualifiers. It was actually a close one. But then, I believe with the crop of players we have in the Tigers team, we can actually, you know, do better than what we did at the Olympic qualifiers. You know, coupled with the fact that we have new members actually coming to join the team, the likes of Erica, Ogumeke, we have Elizabeth Williams, that they actually plays in the women NBA. So I believe with this addition and the fact that if you look at the Tigers team, they play just like the men team, and the difference between them and the other teams competing in this tournament is the fact that they can actually tinker around a little bit, you know, rotate the squad, and I see that happening with the Tigers team as well. They can rotate the team, and you will still get, you know, the same quality, you know, of play that you're getting from you know, the starters, and that's a good thing. If you're going into a competition like this, you need that sort of competition to actually keep your team going. Yeah,
the Tigers will be having their first camp. Open camp this week. It has started, going by the information we have, from the 31st of January to last till the 8th of February. And a number of players have been invited to be part of that camp. In view of what they are up against at the Olympics, how important and necessary is this camping, and given the fact that it's starting really a bit early?
Yeah, it's even good to start a bit early. I mean, the campaign is going to, you know, obviously prepare them for the Olympics. The most important thing is for them to prepare well, you know, have better preparations, and not, you know, obviously complain on financial issues, because they need to prove, you know, a point. They need to, you know, defend Africa, because they came out to be the best at the last Afro basketball, yes, and they need to prove that they are defending champions going into the Olympics. So proper preparations will obviously take them a long way.
There's one interesting scenario we were looking forward to, given the fact that Nigeria has been grouped against United States of America.
Yeah.
The possibility of two siblings or three siblings coming up against themselves.
Yeah.
We have Erica Ogumeke, plays in the WNBA, that's Women NBA.
Yeah.
She plays for Nigeria, the Tigers, but as siblings, we have two of our siblings that play for the United States of America. This will be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, it will actually be an interesting matchup, and I'm hoping to see, you know, they still have a younger sister, Olivia, who is still playing college basketball.
She has not decided which country.
She has not decided which country.
I hope she comes to Nigeria. So we have
so that it will be a balanced situation.
Yeah.
You know, we see Nneka and Chini playing for United States. Likewise, we'll be seeing Olivia and Erica. You know, it's going to be an interesting matchup and a family competition, if you ask me.
Very, very interesting matchup. Well, we look forward to the Olympics, and the men too were involved in the draw. They didn't have an easy draw as well, because Australia, when you talk about the top three teams in the world, I guess Australia should be there alongside United States and Spain or thereabouts. So we have been grouped against Australia, and then waiting for the third team in that group, because there's going to be another Olympic qualifier coming up around in June in Croatia, in Belgrade, where the final qualifiers for the Olympics will take place. So the person that emerges from that qualifiers will be part of the group. So for now, we can say the Tigers have Australia to contend with, but given the fact that we are the best in Africa, 22nd in the world, we know that still not at par with Australia, but then the Tigers team have shown in recent times that they have what it takes to compete with the best in the world. How difficult is this for the Tigers, and what are their prospects?
I think the Tigers have what it takes, you know, to compete. You know, judging by the fact that they played a bit against big teams, especially when it comes to big teams, basketball teams in Africa, like the likes of Rwanda, Mali, South Sudan. We saw how they did pretty well in the 2020 Afro basketball, yes. And I think the Tigers going, ahead to compete against great likes like Australia, USA, and the rest. I think they will, obviously prove a point. It's all about two teams playing against each other. The basic thing is to gather 3 points and those pointers, and at the end of the day make a mark. Okay,
so we have a lot of Nigerians playing the NBA, but not all of them are part of the Tigers team. So some of them are still mulling the idea, maybe representing the United States or other countries. But then I know that the Nigeria Basketball Federation is making an effort to get as many of them to commit to playing for Nigeria. How important is this? How important is it to actually get as many of them to play for Nigeria? And is it possible that we'll get to see a scenario where we'll field maybe the 5 players playing on the court at a particular point in time, all NBA stars for Nigeria? Is that a possibility?
I think it's very possible at this point, because if you look at the situation on the ground right now, OG Anunobi, just like I said yesterday, has switched allegiance to Nigeria. Jahil Okafor he's playing for okay, maybe he plays in the NBA actually.
Okay, NBA.
What they call them? This team.
Pistons?
No, not Pistons. Actually, I think it's one of these
newly drafted players. Right?
No, it's not. It's not a newly drafted player. He's an experienced player, and he has been there, I think, for over 5 years now. And I think he plays for the Atlanta Hawks.
Okay.
Yeah, he plays for the Atlanta Hawks. And then we have the likes of what's his name? Al Farouk Aminu, who has already played for Nigeria. He's playing for the Portland Trail Blazers. We have the likes of Okoje, who is already in the NBA. He's playing for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Then we still have the recently drafted guy, Udoka Azubuike, who is playing for the Memphis Grizzlies. We have Onyeka Okongwu, who has not yet decided. Nigeria can actually pull these guys to come and play for us. And then we have the likes of Spencer Dwindi, who, by the way, might actually miss the Olympics. So if you look at the experience of these guys, you feel that it will come to a point where we have NBA players right on the court, and then we have some of them on the bench. Now, what I'm happy about the prospect of the Tigers basketball team going into the Olympics is the fact that if you watch the Tigers play during the FIBA 2019 World Cup, who played against Argentina, who played against China. These are top basketballing nations, and then we gave them a tough run, especially Argentina. Argentina played in the final, and Argentina had to sweat, down to the last buzzer, before they could beat Nigeria.
We can confidently say that the Tigers are even a stronger team now than they were.
At that time. At that point
players you just mentioned, and should they be part of this team?
Yeah.
Now, Blessing, now we can say we are playing against Australia, one of the top teams in the world. But as Austin just ruled out names of players in the NBA, that some of them are already part of the team, and more of them could be part of the team. We can confidently say going to the Olympics, anything can happen.
Yes, anything can happen in the Olympics. Like Austin mentioned, we have a crop of international stars, in the Tigers at this point. And I think the fact that Mike Brown, the coach, will be able to, obviously impact, much more in these players, because he has international experience too. The fact that he's obviously coaching with the Golden State Warriors at this point, and also he has coached the Lakers and big clubs in the NBA. So there's this positive impact and this strength when it comes to the Tigers.
Yes, will not be out of place handling this kind of big name players, just high-profile players, because he himself is a high-profile coach, having coached at the highest level of the game. So I think it's a very good scenario we have with the Nigerian basketball team, both the men and the female teams, and the women team. So we just hope that the Basketball Federation able to get their act together. By the way, the Basketball Federation have also reacted to the draws. The Vice President, Babatunde Ogunade, was speaking yesterday. He said it's a very tough draw. We all know that it's a tough draw. Yeah. It's up to you guys. That's your job to fashion a way out for us so that we at least go there and put up a very good performance. We will not be asking too much. We'll not say go for gold. But if we get the gold, we'll collect it with full hands. But then we're also very, very realistic, and we know that it's not going to be easy out there. But then we have we have the opportunity, we have the players to be able to get a good result, provided administratively we get it right. So that's where the Nigerian Basketball Federation comes in. And so far they've proven that they have what it takes to actually get this team playing very well, both the male and the women team. And we don't expect anything less from them going into the Olympic Games. We'll take a short break now as we step it down on basketball. And when we return, we shall have a look talking football. This time, Nigerian Professional Football League. It enters week 8 today with matches slated for different parts of the country. Top of the bill, Nasarawa United versus Eyimba. Two teams in good form, riding high in the league, and then they clash today in Lafia. What will be the outcome? As we also look at all the other matches that will be taking place later today. Back to the Grand Sports Center and moving on, Nigerian Professional Football League, NPFL enters week 8 today, and so many matches lined up. Top of the bill, like I've said earlier, Nasarawa United will take on Eyimba. We also have Katsina United against Rivers United. Adamawa United will entertain Akwa United. Kano Pillars will host Jigawa Golden Stars. Atland will play Ifan Yuba. Wiki Tourists will be host to MFM. Lobby Stars will be guests of Kwara United. Abia Warriors will welcome Sunshine Stars. Enugu Rangers will be up against Dakada, while Warri Wolves will be at home to play to United. Austin, I've talked about the star match for me, Nasarawa United, Eyimba. Do you have any contrary opinion? Because looking at this scenario, Nasarawa United have lost just one match this season, which was just last weekend. It was a blip. Yeah. I can use that word. Coming into week 7, they had not lost any match, and they were topping the table. Then Eyimba too, after the slow start, have started picking up the pieces, so they are still amongst the first 2, 3, 4 teams in the league table. So this match against an informed Nasarawa United and a vastly experienced and also informed Eyimba, if I may use that word, should actually be a very, very interesting one. So what should we look forward to later today? We should look forward to an interesting encounter. Eyimba, knowing fully well that they need that point away from home, and Nasarawa United looking to continue, or bounce back from their loss against Plateau United. It's going to be a cagey affair, considering the experience in Eyimba. Even the Nasarawa players, they know that the team they are up against, playing against Eyimba, whether away or at home, is going to be a tough task any day. But then for Nasarawa United, I feel, because of the recent trend, for Eyimba not doing too well away from home, and the form of Nasarawa United at home this season, I feel Nasarawa will actually peep Eyimba to this one. Well, that's been optimistic there. I thought you were not going to stick out your neck, but then let's see what will happen later today. Katsina United will host Rivers United. Rivers United presently top the table, but then we know that they are also beatable on the road because they lost to Plateau United 2 weeks ago, though they bounced back last week with a 1-0 victory, I think about Wiki Tourists or so. But then Katsina United have shown this season that at home they're impeccable. Away, they've not had good results. I think they've lost all their away matches, but at home they've also won all their own matches. Playing against Rivers United, what should we look forward to?
Well, I think we will look forward to a more interesting game, but not as that of Eyimba and Nasarawa United. So it's going to be a free-flowing game, and I think Rivers United, judging by the fact that they've had better performance, especially you know, this season. And I think Rivers United will have an upper edge in this game.
But then Katsina United are playing at home, and we know that at home they've been very, very prolific this season. Another match, interesting match, is Kano Pillars, Jigawa Golden Stars. Two neighbors, two from the same, somehow, from the same, used to be from the same state actually, Jigawa and Kano State, but then now they're still neighbors, brothers, and now Kano Pillars will host Jigawa Golden. Though Golden Stars play their matches in Kaduna, but they will be at the Sani Abacha Stadium to play against Kano Pillars today in Kano. And it's always, when it comes to kind of a local derby, it's always going to be very difficult.
Yeah, and it's going to be difficult to predict. But then Kano Pillars, they will actually want to make a statement here. You know, if you look at this season, they've not performed badly, but then I believe they should be above where they are right now, you know, considering the caliber of players they have, and considering the fact that, you know, is a local derby. I believe it's going to be a tough one. You know, if you look at derbies, you know, all over the world, it's always like that. Whenever you are playing a particular team, irrespective of form does not even matter in this case. So I'm trying not to stick my neck on this one here.
Yeah, and no one is asking you to actually. And we have Kwara United taking on Lobby Stars. Kwara United have shown that in Lorry they are very, very good this season. I think they've won almost all their matches there. Lobby Stars too, very good form. Though last weekend they played a 2-2 draw, and they also have been very good away from home. I think they beat Sunshine Stars in Akure about 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So away from home, they have shown that they can actually play too. So Kwara United at home to Lobby Stars.
another different fixture matchup, I would say, apart from the Enyimba Nasarawa United game. I feel this is another match which we'll be looking forward to, because of the fact that this Kwara United team this season, they have proven that they can hold their own against anybody. You know, they went away to beat Plateau United, and their result at home this season, you know, has been consistent. One of the most consistent home team this season. And, you know, going away for Lobby Stars is going to be a difficult one. And also, it's going to be very difficult to predict as well. But then with the experience of Tele Ayenuba, you know, he has been the one. I think the coach actually attributed the fact that, you know, his experience has really worked for the team, and you know, I believe he's going to be a deciding factor in how the match is going to pan out, if you ask me.
Another match of interest is Abia Warriors against Sunshine Stars. Two teams with conflicting fortunes in recent times. Abia Warriors still not able to get that win. The 3-match ultimatum has expired, but then it got 3 draws, so we've not heard anything from them. Probably Imama Amaka Pabo has been let off the hook, at least for now. Then he has another chance to really salvage his job, but has played Sunshine Stars, one of the informed team. Their last 2 matches they've won home and away. So they went to Uyo to beat Dakada 2 weeks ago, and last weekend they beat Enugu Rangers 3-1 in Akure. So they are one of the informed teams. So they take on Abia Warriors, who are looking for that result desperately. What should we look forward to?
Yeah, I like the fact that you said they will obviously have to prove a point. Abia Warriors, I'm talking. They will obviously have to prove a point against Sunshine Stars, because the coach, Abia Warriors coach, was given a 3-match ultimatum, and he obviously did pretty well. The fact that, you know, he didn't lose that match, although they drew their 3 matches. But I think the game against Sunshine Star will prove they will have to prove everyone wrong, especially with the fact that they will have to go out there and win that game. And I think the fact that they've not lost in recent times would boost their confidence.
Yes, indeed. And Enugu Rangers up against Dakada. Rangers lost 3-1 to Kwara United last weekend. Yeah. Sunshine Stars, nobody saw that coming in Akure. But like we said, Sunshine Stars, they are operating on a different level now. When they played Dakada, Dakada also bounced back to winning ways with victory last weekend. And so they play in Enugu. So Rangers smarting from that loss, Dakada really enjoying their weekend victory. So 2 teams with contrasting fortunes. So what do we expect to see?
I think the Kada at this point in time are looking at the fact that there's a chance for them in this game, because if you look at Rangers FC, the performance in the last 3 games, they've not won any game. They drew away in Lagos at the Agege Stadium to MFM. They also drew against Ifeanyi at home, and then they lost to Sunshine Stars. So at this point in time, the Dakada FC team, they're actually smelling blood. And if you listen to what the coach was saying this morning, he said he talked about the fact that there's nothing special about Rangers. So at this point in time, they're looking at exploiting that moment, because if you look at Rangers right now, they are at their lowest ebb, and they are very, very vulnerable to anything at this point in time.
And the Kada coach, Lawrence Kingsley, is already saying that his team is not afraid of facing Rangers. Just as the Nassau United striker Hassan Adamu has said, they too, they are waiting for Eimba, and they are assuring of victory over Eimba today. Well, so much about Nigerian Professional Football League. We can't go through all the matches. Those are just a few we could talk about. But the Warri Wolves and Plateau United match also sounds very, very interesting. Yeah. So probably it's something that we should look at as well. Warri Wolves, they've lost their last 2 matches, so they have an opportunity to bounce back in this match as they take on Plateau United. Plateau United also, they have picked up the pieces of their season after they have they lost to Kwara United. Since then, they've had some very, very good results as well. So what should we look forward to in Warri today? Well,
I think we should look forward to an interesting game, because although Warri Wolves have not been informed because they've lost 3 matches at a stretch, and Plateau United, a shocker against Nassau United. I didn't see that coming, but it obviously happened. Yes,
run to an end.
To an end, exactly. Yeah. They have a way of shocking the big teams. Or anyway, Plateau United did pretty well, and I think they have a good run of form in the league. And I think the fact that they're playing away doesn't stand a chance of them losing that game. And I think they will obviously have an impact in that game.
So when we talk of impact, we're looking at least a draw, right?
A draw.
Well, we'll leave it at that. So much about Nigerian Professional Football League. Later today, those matches will play, so you could follow them and enjoy the best of Nigerian football. On our program tomorrow, we'll be sure to give you the results of those matches. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll still talk football, but this time we'll go to England and see what happened and talk about what happened yesterday at Old Trafford. 9-0. I'm not sure Southampton saw that coming, but it happened 9-0 in a league match. Well, we'll talk about this and other results from the English Premier League last night. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center, and moving on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9-0. Well, it has happened on 2 other occasions in the past. Yeah. But this season, especially the way Southampton were playing. Remember they beat Liverpool 1-0. Yeah. And if it was going to happen to a team, it wasn't. Nobody ever thought that it would be Southampton. In fact, some of us actually felt that yesterday United's poor run of form, which has seen them draw and lose in the last 2 matches, will continue, but it was not to be. What could have happened at Old Trafford yesterday? I think the red card played a key role, right? Yeah,
it actually played.
I know that's what you will say.
If you look at a football match, you know that whenever you are playing a game, especially a team that plays a kind of high-octane football, like Southampton team, they lost the man early in the game. 2 minutes into the game, it was a needless foul from Jerich, and it actually disbalanced the game plan of the coach, and that was what happened in the game. This is not a new thing to the Southampton. It happened to them last season. They were beaten by Leicester.
Can you imagine? This is a very bad way to address. I say that was a new team, so they should be losing 9-0 every season. It's definitely not a good way.
They should not be surprised that
it's definitely not a good thing to associate with a team that they've lost 9-0 on 2 occasions, back to back. The one before the one against United yesterday, had lost to Leicester, just like Austin said. But then they've also proven this season that they are a team that not doing too badly. Like I said, that they beat Liverpool. But is this a statement from Manchester United? Forget about the 9-0. Even if it ended 1-0, 2-0. But the fact that they're coming from after a string of bad results, a draw and a loss, then they won this time. Is this a statement by Manchester United that they still have their eyes on the league title?
Yeah, I think it's a statement. You know, they still have their eyes on the league title. Yes, I understand the fact that there's so many, you know, clubs so many clubs out there, you know, to be played. They say Manchester United haven't played the big clubs yet. That's the more reason. But I think the match against Southampton was a statement. I mean, they obviously counted the whole players, the 9 players that was left, red carded, 2 players were out already. And Southampton, the coach has obviously really done well with the Southampton team. But I think Manchester United came with a firepower approach. Like you said, the fact that they lost against Sheffield United, that was really a big blow for them. And, you know, everyone talked about it. And Manchester United did not even look back when they came, you know, against Southampton, and they gave them the required results.
Exactly. Talking about Sheffield United, I just mentioned, second win in recent times, that begin to gather the points. But then it was, interestingly, it was against another team that they are in the battle for relegation with, you know, against relegation with.
Yeah.
And how important is this victory for Sheffield United? They won 2-1 against West Brom.
Yeah, it's very, very important considering they are playing against another relegation rival, and it's going to increase their confidence. It's going to boost their confidence moving into the next game. This is a Sheffield United team that has not been able to win all season, and then a back-to-back win will actually give them.
They lost Saturday.
They lost Saturday. I beg your pardon.
But very slim loss, 1-0.
Yeah, and
to Manchester City.
Manchester City, yeah, I remember the game against Manchester City. I think they gave their all, but then is against the Manchester City side that are so good, so clinical. You know, they were able to restrict Manchester City. It shows that they are beginning to come back to form, and then these results, you know, actually consolidating that fact that, you know, that result against Manchester United was no fluke. And then, you know, against a side that is struggling just like themselves, you know, they can actually pick that 3 points. It's good for their confidence, and I think it's good for you know, for their position on the table, like in movement wise.
They're still down.
Yeah, they're still down. But then at least they
have reduced the gap between them and West Brom.
Yes.
So they take it one step at a time.
Yeah.
Fight against relegation. So as long as they keep on getting the results, they'll get out of that position.
Exactly.
Another match yesterday that surprised people was the loss by Arsenal. Many did not saw it. I mean, many did not see it coming, given the fact that Arsenal have been in a good run of form, especially in the league, and then all of a sudden, Wolves brought them back to earth. The issue of David Luiz, is it more of a problem or an asset to Arsenal? Because very often you see him getting these bookings and he gets sent off. You see him going into these tackles, gets injured, and is replaced. He gets sent off. The team. So to be sincere, looking at David Luiz' influence in the Arsenal team, supposed to be one of the leaders, having been one of the most experienced in the team. So he was again at the center of all that happened yesterday because he was issued a red card, and you never can rule out the effect of that on the team. So David Luiz, for you, how would you see his influence in the Arsenal team, an asset or a problem?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a problem. I think I'll say it's an asset because he has been there. You know, I know this is not the first time he's been red carded, you know, and David Luiz, red card, if you'd ask me, he obviously did not deserve the red card if you look at it critically. I mean, I feel like Arsenal, you know, it's just unfortunate they've ended their unbeaten run. But if you look at it, Arsenal were leading in the first half, and I think David Luiz' red card obviously, you know, affected Arsenal winning that game, and Wolves took advantage of it, and at the end of the day, Arsenal dropped points.
Yeah, credit to Wolves that they're able to get that result. They are the first win in 9 matches.
Yeah.
That's this one like the Wolves of last season that was actually beating almost taking everything to the cleaners. But
Yeah.
that is how things have changed so much in the last 1 year. Well, the last match was played yesterday saw Crystal Palace beat Newcastle by 2-1. Newcastle, you know, they bounced back after about 5 matches. They won last weekend.
Yeah.
They beat Everton.
Everton.
They went to go at Goodison Park.
Yeah,
Away. They won 2-0. Everton, one of the high-riding teams in the team. Then all of us, they are playing at home to Crystal Palace and they lost. The inconsistency is maybe the issue, maybe the problem of Newcastle this season. If they are actually find themselves in the relegation fight because they've been so inconsistent, right?
Yeah, they've been so inconsistent, and I don't know what's wrong with the team at this point. Because if you look at the team, they have the team to actually stay up in the league, and each time it feels like Newcastle United are about to go on a run. You know, you see them being brought back to earth again. It seems there's something wrong with the team, you know, psychologically, and you know they have to fix that fast.
Yes, indeed. Fast, because Sheffield United is telling you that if you give an opportunity, they will overtake you.
Yeah.
Even the West Brom, they're not. It's just that Sheffield United had the better of them yesterday. They too have been having some good results. After they beat Wolves 3-2 away from home. So every team is picking up those results, and you never can tell how far they can go, because they could just be on a run of wins, and before you know it, they have amassed enough points to escape relegation. Well, so much about the English Premier League. Today we have more matches. Today we have Burnley taking on Manchester City. If you may remember, Burnley ended Liverpool's unbeaten run at home of over 60 matches, and so they can actually play the big boys. So Man City should be wary. Fulham will take on Leicester. Leeds will entertain Everton, and Aston Villa will be up against West Ham. It will be Liverpool, Brighton, and Tottenham, Chelsea. Well, I could say this is a real baptism of fire for Thomas Tuchel in the English Premier League. If he's able to escape and come out on scratch from this fixture, we know that he's really getting himself attuned to the rigors and the demands of the English football. We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll see which time permits us to talk about tennis. Novak Djokovic has led his country, Croatia, to victory over Serbia to victory over Canada in the ATP Cup, and this is a good preparation for him for the Australian Open, which starts next week. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center, and moving on, we'll talk tennis. Novak Djokovic actually led Serbia to victory over Canada. He beat Denis Shapovalov in the singles event of their match in the ATP Cup, and also teamed up with Filip Krajinovic to beat Shapovalov and Raonic. So Serbia ended up winning 3-0, and they are the defending champions of this competition. So it shows that they've not let off at all from where they stopped last season. But then, the biggest picture is that Novak Djokovic is in good form ahead of the Australian Open. So he's world number 1, already showing that probably is also the most likely person to go all the way.
Yeah, he's obviously in good form, and he's not, going to, how do I put it? He's not going to take any chances. I mean, he's there for he will be there for the Australian Open. He was there for Serbia, and he contributed pretty well, and we saw how, the defending champions, obviously took the day at the end of the day, So I think Novak Djokovic has proven himself to be the best anytime, any day.
Yes, indeed, and there's no other way to show that you are the best in the world other than leading your country to victory in a major tournament. This is the pride of most big name players, the likes of Maradona, that won the World Cup with Argentina, and the likes of Ronaldo, who won the Nations League with Portugal. And this is one area that Messi has not been able to come up. He has come up short so many times, reached the finals of the World Cup in 2014, reached Copa America finals on a number of occasions, but still no victory. But then, in the tennis game, Novak Djokovic, who is world number one, led Serbia to the ATP. ATP is like a national team football, national team game where you compete for your country rather than for yourself, like the Grand Slams. So, and Serbia won last year, which is testimony to the fact that he's actually a great player. So, wish him well in the Australian, as he prepares for the Australian Open. We hope that there will be no case of COVID-19, as this has been one of the issues that has trailed the competition. I know that by the time it finally starts, we may be having more stories about COVID-19 rather than what happens on the court of play. But we understand that the organizers of the competition are doing everything to ensure the safety of players. Away from tennis now, because we don't have too much of time, let's talk about the National Sports Festival, which is starting on the 14th. They're still not certain because for many quarters, there's been calls that it be postponed. But then the main organizing committee is already making arrangements to ensure that the limit number of athletes so as to reduce the possibility of spread of COVID-19. And they've asked that every state should reduce the number of team sports in which they are competing. And to this effect, they've directed that the only teams that won their zonal qualifiers, rather than the first, second, and third teams from the zonal qualifiers, will be at Edo 2020. So only the first place teams. We are talking about teams that win zonal qualifiers, talking about 6 geopolitical zone, and maybe 6 teams per team sport. That will go a long way to reduce the number of athletes competing. Austin, how far will this measure help in curbing the risk of COVID-19?
I think it will help a lot. You know, if you look at what they're trying to avoid, they're trying to avoid a situation where, you know, the crowd will be too much, and you know, considering the situation on ground right now. But then the most important thing is the fact that, you know, they are ready to host, and with all the body language I'm seeing, I am very sure that this 2020 Edo National Festival will hold, and that's the most important thing, because we have to prepare for the Olympics.
Yes, indeed. And talking about the National Sports Festival, the team, Federal Capital Territory, the FCT team, is preparing very hard, and they have the opportunity of using the National Stadium, Mushito Abiola Stadium, with very good facilities for training. That's the advantage you have for being the Federal Capital Territory. Facilities abound that you can actually use to prepare. The Sports Council have said that they will participate in 27 sporting events at the games, and all the players are preparing that they will go into close camping next week ahead of final preparations for the game. So FCT, they've not been among the first 3, but somehow they've always been at the middle, between the 10th and the 15th, between the 10th and the 20th. Do we see them doing better this time around?
Well, I wouldn't know what to say in this aspect, because I see strong teams like Edo, Rivers, and Delta.
Yeah.
So where to place FCT right now is where I wouldn't, honestly.
Until you keep your fingers crossed, right?
Exactly.
So we all keep our fingers crossed.
Exactly.
But the good thing is that they are preparing very well, and just like we say in sports, anything could happen. With good preparation, you can beat the best, you can beat the champion. It's just about preparation and getting it right. And as we wrap it up on the program today, let's quickly look at Super Eagles Watch. And the story is that Henry Onyekuru has resurrected his career at Monaco. He was surplus to requirement. He had not played for months. Then he went on loan this January to Galatasaray, and he has so far played 2 matches and has scored 3 goals. How well can someone answer his critics? Austin, you must say something here.
Yeah, I have to say something.
I wanted to run through this Eagles fight, but somehow.
I'm happy for that young man, and he said it before, that he doesn't need time to settle at Galatasaray. He has been there. It's like a second home for him. And I think each time there's a problem for him, he needs to recover himself. He has to go back to Galatasaray.
So why don't he just stay there for permanently? I think that's what it's going to turn out to. Because even the Galatasaray coach, Fiterim, has said that he knows him and they're happy to. I'm sure that this time around he's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
We'll just keep him. Three goals in 2 matches. How well can someone answer his critics? We're still in Turkish football. Bright Osais Samba, another Nigerian, was transferred to Fenerbahce from Queen's Park Rangers at the beginning of the season. He played yesterday as Fenerbahce beat Atespor 2-1. He played for 67 minutes. He is now getting his game time. He's looking forward to better opportunities, and we know that Super Eagles door should be knocking any moment, any time soon. Also, Azubike Okechukwu, the former captain of the under-23 national team, who plays for Istanbul Basaksehir, he has been injured for a long time, but it's good to know that he is back. He was also in action for his side last night in the Turkish league, and it's good to know that Azubike Okechukwu is finally back to action. Ogene Karuetebo also played for Galatasaray alongside Henry Oyekuru, but he was substituted at halftime. Probably he had an injury or something, or maybe for tactical reasons, we don't know, but at least he had 45 minutes of action. Away from Turkey, Reading's Ovio Ejaria, who we reported yesterday that the president of the Nigeria Football Federation, Amadi Pinnick, has confirmed that he has received his international clearance from FIFA to switch challengers from England to Nigeria. So he's eligible to play for Nigeria, eligible to be called up by Grande for the next round of matches of Super Eagles, has been included in the Championship Player of the Month team. So which shows that he's just a very good player. He's not just an ordinary player. He's been included in the team of the month in the English Championship. So showing the fact that in the month of January, he was actually one of the high performers in English Championship. So if you are doing very well in English Championship, you should also have a place in the international team. But it's up to Grande to decide if you invite him for the matches against Benin and Lesotho in March. Fulham coach Scott Parker has been speaking glowingly of Nigerian striker Josh Maja, who was signed on loan from Bodo at the end of the transfer window. He says he actually went for him because of his potential. So we hope that he will get better opportunities at Fulham. Josh Maja has played for Nigeria before. He played in the friendly match against Ukraine in 2019. He came in the last minutes of that match, which means that he's already a Nigerian international. And finally, on Super Eagles Watch, Glasgow Rangers manager Stephen Gerrard is happy that they were able to finalize the deal for Nigerian midfielder Nnamdi Ofobo. Nnamdi Ofobo has played for the Nigerian Flying Eagles. He used to be with Bournemouth, and he has been transferred to Glasgow Rangers. Though he's on loan to Wycombe to the end of the season, he'll start playing for Glasgow Rangers from next season, which means we'll now have about 4 Nigerians at Glasgow Rangers, with Leon Balogun there, Joe Eribo there, and Calvin Bassey there. So in addition, if we now add Nnamdi Ofobo to that list, we have 4 Nigerians playing under Stephen Gerrard. If you ask me, it's a very good thing that these players are in Glasgow Rangers, because Glasgow Rangers are set to win the Scottish League, which means that they will be back in the Champions League next season. So 4 Nigerians in the Champions League for one club would be a very good prospect. I always look at the gains for Nigeria when it comes to these players. And this is where we wrap it up on the program today. We hope you've had a nice time watching it, and we'll be back same time tomorrow, same station, God willing. And we also always look forward to having you join us. I am Donald Agbavobo. I want to thank Austin Arume for being part of the show.
It's always my pleasure to be here.
And Blessing Bassi as well.
Yes, it was good.
On behalf of all of us and the entire production crew,